Good morning. Today we are covering section 1.1 integer arithmetic. This is going to be a review lesson that you guys have learned back in Algebra 1. There are the rules of addition, rules of multiplication, and division. For addition, if they have the same sign, we're going to be adding the numbers. If they have different signs, we are going to subtract the numbers. We are going to be keeping the sign of the larger number. For multiplication, if they have the same sign, it's going to be positive. If they have different signs, it's going to be negative. But let's go and look at example number 1 for addition. Remember, same sign, add the numbers, different signs, you subtract the numbers. And you always keep the sign of the larger number. For example number 1a, we have a 7 plus a negative 9. This is a positive. This is a negative. They have different signs. So we're going to subtract. 9 minus 7 will be 2. And we keep the sign of the bigger number. We're just looking at the 9 and the 7. The 9 is bigger, so we're going to keep that negative. And that'll be your answer. For letter B, we have a negative 3 and a negative 6. They both are negative, so they have the same sign. If they have the same sign, we are going to be adding the numbers. That'll give us a 9. And we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. And the 6 is bigger, we keep it negative. So it'll be negative 9. For letter C, we have a negative and a positive. Different signs. So we're going to subtract. That'll give us a 4. And we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. The 7 is bigger, so we're going to keep the negative. Remember, same sign you add, different signs you subtract, and you keep the sign of the larger number. Go and try D, E, and F. Pause it and see if you guys can do it by yourselves. For letter D, they have different signs, so we are going to subtract. That'll give us a 7. And we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. The 9 is bigger and it's a positive. So it'll be positive 7. Letter E, this is a positive, this is a negative. So they have different signs. We are going to subtract. That'll give us a 2. And we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number, which is the 5. We're going to keep as a positive. Letter F, same sign. We are going to be adding. And we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. The 6 is bigger, so we're going to keep the negative in my answer. Now for subtraction, it works the same way. Let's go to example number 2. If we have a subtraction, we need to be able to change it to an addition, and as we have here, we are going to make the second number the opposite. So first we're going to change it to an addition. This is a 9. And we're going to make this a positive. We're going to change the subtraction to an addition, and we're going to make this the opposite, positive. Now they have the same sign. And we add, we keep the sign of the bigger number. But to make it much easier, at this point we know that if we have two negatives, we can just make that into a positive. So let's go and rewrite it. 2 negatives becomes a positive. They have different signs, so we subtract, and we keep the sign of the larger number. So it'll be 3, positive 3. We have a subtraction. But we are going to think of this as a negative 1 and a negative 7. It will be negative 7 minus 1. The negative belongs to the 1. In this case, we have the same sign. This is a negative 7. This is a negative 1. So we're going to be adding, and we'll keep the sign of the bigger number, which is a negative. So just notice the difference. We can change the subtraction to an addition and make this the opposite. Or we can just say 2 negatives, make it a positive. Negative times negative is a positive. Or we can also think of this negative belonging to the 1. So we have a negative 7 and a negative 1. Same sign, we add and keep the sign of the bigger number. Let's go and try D, E, and F. For letter D, this is a negative 8 and a negative 3. They have the same sign. We are going to be adding and keep the sign of the bigger number. When we have 2 negatives, that's going to become a positive. We're going to rewrite it as an addition. And we are going to be adding and keeping the sign of the bigger number, which is just positive 9. Letter F, two negatives become a positive. So we have negative 4 plus 9. You must rewrite your expression, and don't try to do it in your head, because then you'll be making small mistakes that's going to cost you several points on the test. So you have a negative 4 and a positive 9, different signs, you subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number, so it's positive 5. For example number 3, we have to simplify and we're going to be working from left to right. So we're going to simplify these first two numbers, 3 minus 7. They have different signs, so we're going to subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number. Now we have two negatives, so we're going to rewrite this as a positive 2. Now we have negative 4 plus 2. They have different signs, so we're going to subtract, and we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. For letter B, we're going to work from left to right. They have different signs. We have a positive, we have a negative. We are going to subtract, and we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. We're going to bring down the negative 1. They have the same sign. We are going to be adding, and we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. The 3 is a negative, so our answer will be negative. Go and try letters C and D, see if you guys can work it out by yourself. Go and pause it. For letter C, they have different signs. They have the same sign, so we're going to be adding. Keep the sign of the bigger number. Bring down the positive 4. Different signs, so we're going to subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. For letter D, same sign, we are going to be adding. Keep the sign of the bigger number. We are going to rewrite the minus negative 9 as a positive 9. Different signs, we're going to subtract and keep the sign of the larger number, which is positive. Let's go and work on the last example. Well, we have a few more. Example number 4 and 5. Example number 4. Now we're going to be moving into the multiplying and dividing. Another way to memorize your multiplying and dividing properties is by using the triangle. On the bottom we have two negatives and we have a positive. Some of you guys have seen this before. If we multiply or divide, a negative and a negative becomes a positive. If we multiply a negative times a positive, your answer will be negative. So let's go and try the first one. We have a positive times a negative. They're multiplying. So a positive times a negative, your answer will be negative. This is 56 and negative 56. We are dividing. 18 divided by 2 is 9. If we divide a negative divided by a negative, your answer will be a positive. We have a negative 5 times 9. As 5 times 9 is 45. If we multiply a negative times a positive, it's a negative. Go and try the next three. See if you guys can work it by yourselves. For letter D, we are dividing. 24 divided by 3 is 8. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Letter E, 36 divided by 9 is 4. Positive divided by negative, your answer will be negative. Letter F, we are multiplying. 16 times 8. We are just going to multiply on the side. 16 times 8. 6 times 8 was 48. We carry 4. 8 and 4 will be 12. So this will be 128. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Negative multiplied by negative is a positive. Example number 5. We are working with order of operations, and many of you guys have remember order of operations by PEMDAS or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponents, M for multiplication, D for division, A for addition, and S for subtraction. First, example 5a, we are going to simplify. We don't have any parentheses, so we're going to be working on the exponents first. We're going to bring everything down. 8 minus 3 squared will be 9 minus 5 times 2. So we worked on the exponents. Next will be multiplication. We are multiplying negative 5 times 2. Remember that negative belongs to the 5. We have 8 minus 9. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Now we're going to work just like we did on example number 3, from left to right. 8 minus 9. Different signs, we're going to subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number. We're going to bring the negative 10 down. Same sign, we're going to be adding, keep the sign of the bigger number. For letter B, notice that we have brackets. Those are considered parentheses, but we're going to simplify first what's inside of the brackets. First, we're going to be working on the parentheses, then the exponents, and then the subtraction. We have negative 2, bracket, 6 minus, 2 minus 5, different signs, subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number. We're going to simplify whatever's inside the, or we're going to be working on the exponents first. Negative 2, 6 minus, negative 3 squared is negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Notice that I no longer have the parentheses. Simplify what's inside. Negative 2, this will give me negative 3, and this will give me a positive 6. And then go ahead and work on letters C and D, see what you get, and we can check our answers. For letter C, I notice that I can rewrite this as a positive 5, but I want to simplify the exponents first. It'll be negative 8 divided by 2 squared will be 2 times 2, which is 4. Next will be division, will be 5. Negative 8 divided by 4. Remember, the negative belongs to the 8. Negative 8 divided by 4 will be negative 2. So my answer will be 3. And letter D. First, we're going to be working with the exponent. Notice that only the 3 is being raised to the second power, not the negative. The negative is not part of the square. We're going to bring everything else down. Negative 6 divided by 2 minus 3 squared will be 9 minus 5. We are going to be working with the division first. That'll give us a negative 3. Bringing everything else down. And now we're going to be working from left to right. Negative 3 minus 9, same sign. We're going to be adding, keep the sign of the bigger number. And negative 5 will give us a negative 17. Be sure that on your homework you need to be able to show me step by step, and make sure to underline the section that you're working on so I can go back and check your work. Thanks.